Hey there, welcome back to the channel. So tonight I want to show you a completely 100% bolt-on, no modification required big brake kit for your BMW E46, okay? I'm currently amidst swapping my car with a S62 from the E39 M5. I am currently waiting for parts to continue on with the swap. So in the meantime, I wanted to give the brakes some attention. Now, originally the car was a 323, and I went with 330 front brakes, complete bolt-on, amazing upgrade, because the 323 and other non-Ms have smaller brakes compared to the 330. So whenever you think big brake kit, your brain automatically goes to the fancy Brembo 4 or 6 piston calipers, when in reality, most people do not need that kind of braking power whatsoever. They haven't even come close to maxing out the braking power of the stock 330 brakes, okay? Your typical 330 size brakes with upgraded pads and rotors are usually phenomenal for these cars. The race team, for instance, that I work for sometimes, they have an endurance race car. The car in question is a 330 Ci, and they use the original size brakes with Zimmerman rotors and I believe Hawk pads, and they change the compound depending on what the track environment's like. Now, in my scenario, I wanted to have at least larger front rotors, okay? Now, we are limited by that when it comes to 330 calipers. You can only go so big. What we have here are E46 M3 CSL rotors, also used on the Z4M. Now, the calipers here are from a E90 335. They are a fully aluminum assembly, and they are actually lighter when compared to a 330 caliper. Here is a 330 front caliper for reference in comparison to the 335. This assembly is heavier than that entire assembly right there. It's pretty crazy. Also, what's nice about this is the piston is the same size as the 330 piston. So having the same size piston means we will not be messing with the brake bias too much. The brake pedal should still feel pretty much stock, if not totally stock. The brake pads are a little bit taller with more material for these calipers. And this caliper also allows us to run these rotors 100% completely bolt-on to a non-M E46 up front. We're going to use the brake hoses from the E90 chassis as well, because if you use E46 brake hoses, they will get stretched whenever you turn the steering wheel to full lock. So you're probably wondering, if the piston's the same size, how is this an upgrade? Well, we go to a larger rotor for one. That has a huge denominator when it comes to brake performance, okay? These are 345 millimeters in diameter versus 325 millimeters diameter of the 330 front rotors. Now, with these being a larger diameter, we're going to have better heat dissipation, okay? Also, the pads of these being taller gives us more friction material to bite onto this rotor. Now, I have seen people take these E46 M3 CSL rotors and pair them with the F30 4-piston front calipers. They also are a direct bolt-on. However, with those calipers, they do not effectively use the swept area of the rotor, which is the contact surface for the brake pad right here, okay? Whenever you use the F30 calipers with this rotor, the pad actually hangs off in the middle. It comes off the rotor. So you're not effectively using the entire rotor. You're going to have uneven brake pad wear and possibly some weird braking issues, okay? These calipers basically center the pad perfect on these CSL rotors, okay? As far as the rear brakes go, these calipers are from a E70 X5 model, fully aluminum once again, and super lightweight compared to the rears of the non-Ms because they're all steel construction. These calipers can be swapped directly to the 330 brackets. They also use a larger piston compared to the 330 rears, okay? So we should have a pretty nice level brake bias. So you'll want to use these brake calipers with their matched brake pad, meaning you want to use brake pads for a E70. You'll also pair this with a 330 rear rotor, 100% bolt-on upgrade, lightweight, more clamping force, straight bolt-on. So now we're going to install these front brakes. I'm going to show you how simple it is, and we will see how everything lines up when this stuff is used. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take our M3 CSL rotor. I'm going to stick it on here and line up the set screw hole. There's going to be two on these rotors. There's two set screw holes. These ones here are for little nubs that are machined onto the M3 hubs. Non-Ms do not have them, okay? Now, the M3 set screw is specific. It's smaller compared to the non-M. It's also a smaller drive. This is a 5mm versus the 6 of the non-Ms. These rotors are also side specific, and they are a floating style, so you can see through here is hollow. Okay, and then we'll take our 335 caliper assembly. Once again, look how light this is. One-handing this big caliper right in here. Now, when it comes to mounting hardware, here's the E46 bolt, okay? And here is the E91. You can use this, which I'm going to, because I like the fact that it has a larger head and washer on it. Now, when it comes to tightening the hardware, if you're going to use the bolts for these calipers, they take an 18mm, whereas the original E46 bolts, they will use a 16mm. And we also like to pre-install the brake hose onto the caliper. As far as torquing the fasteners back there, E46 and E90 both call for 81 foot-pounds. So let's go ahead and get them tightened. One more thing to do, and that is to attach the brake hose. This brake line should be an 11mm. Now, brake fluid is very corrosive. You want to make sure you clean it off well after you're done messing with the system. I have forgotten with my aftermarket braided hose, I need to counter hold it from the bottom. With stock hoses, you shouldn't have to do this. There we go. There we go. Now we'll take our E90 hose and put it into the hole, just like that. And it should seat. Did you hear that? It's seated into the hole of the bracket. And now we'll take some brake cleaner and spray it off. And now we will snap in the hose into its holder. Just like that. And that's pretty much it, besides bleeding the brakes. But I want to make sure my wheel fits, okay? Because I have 17-inch wheels. It's going to be very tight. We need to make sure we're going to clear. That is definitely tight. That is a pretty tight fit, man. Look at that. We're good. As you can see, she clears. Beautiful. When it comes to a brake upgrade, I believe that would be as easy as it gets using all OEM parts. Pretty cool. As far as this video goes, I'm finished. Front brake upgrade for E46 is as simple as that. It all depends on your budget and what your overall purpose is. For a lot of scenarios out there, you do not need 4 to 6 piston Brembo brakes. I know it's flashy, it looks cool, and they're overall just badass. I was also fixated on big brake kits and their Brembo, everything, all that. When reality is, a lot of people out there don't need that kind of setup, okay? This current setup should work great for me when it comes to this build. As far as tonight goes, I'm going to install the passenger side, and then I'm going to probably leave the shop for the night. I will see you guys in part 4 of the S62 engine swap into the car. See you guys then. Catch you later.